Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka the man of the people, because I love working for fans of Carolina Panthers. So if you ever have questions for this team about players, I'm the guy to go to, along with my co-host Andre Cassidy. So today we're just going to do a little recap of this past weekend's game, Saturday in New York against the Giants. And we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming game versus the Detroit Lions, which will be a Friday night game, the last one of the preseason here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So today, practice was a walkthrough. Therefore, I do not have the play-by-play breakdown that I normally have, nor will I have snaps of Bryce Young. I'm going to go ahead and expand that now. Usually the video up until this point has been focusing so much on Bryce Young, but I'm also going to start doing stuff where I focus on some of the wide receivers. The linemen, if possible. It's a little hard for me to get a good angle on the linemen, but hey, I work for you all. So if there's some player that you want me to focus on this week as I'm getting the video that I can get and put online for you, just hop down in the comments and let me know, and I'll do my best to get that out there for you. We got Black Cat Panther podcast. Let's go. What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. So yeah, I'm going to go over a few things from today. So all that I have for you today is just some injury updates, some words from Coach Frank Reich, who was able to speak with the media today, as well as touching on some comments from Ekwonu and Chandler Savala. Outside of that, I'm open for whatever questions that you all may have. And actually, let me go ahead and do this because I want you all to get used to it. I'm going to put in the comments a way for you to join me on the show, ask any questions that you may have. And let me do that really quickly. All right, I just put that there in the comments so that you guys can see. There it is in the comments. So just be sure to take a look at that hyperlink there and join me live. So a few more shout outs. The Mad Chatter, always joining us. Appreciate you, Mad Chatter, for joining. And then Big Justin. I like that poster, Big Justin. Pretty cool. And then I need to update this, right? This is good. This is good. It reverses on camera. This is bad. Because Chris McCaffrey no longer plays with the team, so I need to do some updating there so that we can have some of the current plays up on here. So let's go ahead and get into it. My notes from today's practice, and then again, open floor for you guys. So some injuries that we have going on, quite a few. Marquise Haynes, Terrace Marshall, Dante Jackson, Chuba, on and on. So today, Coach Frank Reich took advantage of the fact that he does not have to give an injury update because it is preseason. So during the preseason, things are a little bit more loose with what the teams must report. Most, as we're talking about now, injuries, so they don't have to report anything yet. Coach Frank Reich took advantage of that, saying it's preseason, I don't know, just taking things day to day. So as we get more information about that in terms of these guys and their injuries, we'll let you know. Still does not look too good for Miles Sanders to be playing any in the preseason. Looking like his debut is going to have to be against the Atlanta Falcons down in Atlanta. So what is the plan for this final preseason game? Sometimes it's a dress rehearsal for teams. I've just learned that Aaron Rodgers is likely to play this Saturday. I believe it's this Saturday, but Aaron Rodgers is going to play against the Giants in their last preseason game to get him some reps. As far as how much he'll play, I don't know. But, some teams really like to use this last game as a dress rehearsal. So Frank said that they have talked. Actually, let me just go ahead and play the clip for you so you guys can know what is likely to happen.
Haven't totally nailed it down. Still talking to the coaches about that. Scott and I visited for a while last night, just talking about the plan for this game. So getting closer to finalizing that plan, but I would anticipate it'll be similar to what we've done the last two games. But again, we'll kind of work out the details here in the next 24 hours.
So some details are coming. but he's thinking that it's going to be what has been happening so far. And what that's looked like so far for Bryce is basically 2 series. And in each of the past 2 games, those 2 series will last a little bit into the second quarter, and then Bryce Young comes out. On the defensive side, it's still been pretty much 2 series, and then guys will come out. But defensively, we've held back even more starters than we have on the offensive side. We haven't seen Brian Burns at all this preseason. We haven't seen Justin Houston at all this preseason. And Derek Brown was also held out of last week. So I know there were some comments in the last video about this defense and allowing some drives. And I know against the Giants, it was like quick drives, just kind of marching down the field. And you could definitely notice some things within that in terms of like the trends that the Giants was having. In my opinion, just eating up short to intermediate routes and even a little bit on that left side of the field. But here's the thing, when you don't have so many of those guys up front that will give you that pressure, that'll make the quarterback move, then you get into that situation where you might have the defense not looking like what you would expect or want that defense to look like. So no concerns yet. Me personally, I really would like to see them all get in at least a series. I don't know. I just feel like with so many things new, with so much of the coaching staff new, it's just good to see it happen so that the first time that it happens, it's not live action. You got 70,000 plus people screaming against you and you're trying to get things in order. So that's what is the current game plan to be determined this week. Ekwonu, a.k.a. Icky, has been struggling the past 2 weeks and pass protection for Bryce Young. Icky had a chance to talk with the media today, and I don't have any video of that for you. But essentially, he took full accountability for it. Anytime there's a chance to say, well, even as he was talking about how he resets, do you kind of like taking the mantra that everybody's paid to play and you have good guys on the other side? He said, no, I take that, but I don't lessen my responsibility to keep Bryce upright. It doesn't matter if it's Bryce back there, a first-year guy, #1 pick, or it's a guy that's been playing for 15 years. My job is to protect that person behind me. I'm a protector, and I haven't been doing a good enough job of that, and I'm going to continue to work hard to do better at that job. So regarding the plays from this past weekend in New York, it was one of the plays, it was a miscommunication. And so coach explained it as 2 words that sound similar. Icky thought he heard one when there was another one called, and therefore his protection was pretty bad, pretty unacceptable, even by his, not even by, but also by his standards. And if you look at the tape on that play, Icky kind of just immediately was looking in and let the guy come pretty much untouched to get the sack on Bryce. And they said they're going to change that word. They're going to change that word. So, even though it's something that only has happened once, just you don't get a ton of plays in the NFL. You want to maximize them all. So they're going to change that word. But Coach went on to talk about his feelings and trust in Icky.
A lot of confidence in Icky. I mean, he's, I have no concerns about him playing winning football and being one of the true anchors to our offensive line. And what he's, the year he had last year, the training camp that he's had, I think not only is he going to be a really good player for us, I think he's going to be a good leader. We have had a couple, we've had a couple miscues that he's been involved in, but those things will get worked out.
All right, so you see there, no lack of confidence there in Icky. Looks forward to Icky being a big leader on this team and solidifying that position that he's playing on the O-line and protecting Bryce on that left-hand side. So, I feel the same. He's a second-year player. He's allowed, but it's not mind-blowing that there may be some things that start off a little not right. And they're going to have a couple more weeks to get that straight. Got one more game against the Lions, going to have that 1 week off, and then they head down to Atlanta for a very important game, right? Their first 2 games are against divisional opponents. So it's important that they start off on a fast note so they can get some division wins, start to get themselves in position to compete for an NFC South title. A few other things is it's coming. Let's see, today is August 20th. So teams have 9 days, all right? They have until August the 29th to do their cut down for their 53-man roster. August 29th is when that day is coming. Coach does not feel like they're going to make any moves prior to then. I mean, he said there could be something, but for the most part, expect this Carolina Panthers team to keep a full roster, at least certainly past the Friday game for the Detroit Lions before they start to make any reductions there. Who could be on that list? Well, there's this question about the wide receiver room and who would they keep 6? Will they keep 3 running back? Will they keep 3 quarterbacks? Matt Corral, Andy Dalton, and Bryce Young. We're going to start to find out pretty shortly. And Shi Smith did a good job this past weekend to get some more reps, taking advantage of some more reps with Terrace Marshall out. Derek Wright was out. You also have Demir Burrett out. And Shi did, he did pretty respectable, leading his team in receptions, leading his team in yardage, even catching some balls downfield, some off-schedule stuff. So Shi definitely put himself into consideration for that last man standing in that wide receiver room. We'll keep an eye out on that as well. So that's all that I had from my list of things that I wanted to go over with you all. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and enjoying the content. We're going to continue to bring it to you every single day. So practice schedule this week. Yeah, today was a walkthrough, so not much to report in practice there. And then you're going to have practice as well on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The team will be off on Thursday, and then you have the game on Friday. So let me take a quick sip of my drink. Sorry about that. I always apologize when I have to drink water on live TV, but it's live TV, so you get to see me drink some water. So let me go ahead and go through some of the comments that I have here. Rails tuning in. What's good? Chris, man of the people. Hey, how you doing? Rails, appreciate you tuning in. Hey, let me know, Rails, and anybody that's watching, whether you're watching live or watching the replay, is there any player or coach that you want me to talk to this week? And for that player or coach that you'd like for me to talk to, is there anything in particular that you'd like to find out? And I will do my best to make that happen. Appreciate you tuning in, Rails. The match had a first key to getting on right track is trading CMC. Finally, they did that. Step 2, Terrace Marshall Jr. needs to play hard. And he had been playing hard until he got that injury. It was noticeable that Terrace Marshall, his play was improving. And actually, all these wide receivers, if I was to be honest with you, have made some improvements during these last few weeks. I shouldn't say few weeks. This last week of practice. And, we'll see how it goes. But that's a positive sign to see, right? That everybody on that wide receiver group is getting better. You don't have guys that were struggling and just continuing to fade, making that room a competitive place to be. And we'll see who's able to make it out. And Chad says bubble wrap, Burns, and Houston. They have been bubble wrapped so far, as we have not seen those guys. Here we go. Trade or cut Yetur Gross Matos. Trade or cut him? I'd prefer a trade than a cut because, when you cut somebody, you don't get anything for it. But I feel like Yetur has made some improvements. But, I hear you. Appreciate the comments, Mad Chatter. And then we have here Ken Dukumba Jr. You typed 91. I'm not sure what you're referring to with 91. So Ken, I'm going to give you a moment to bring some clarification to 91 so I can know what that is that you're talking about. And once you do, let me know. I will comment on it. I mean, you could be talking about player number 91. I don't know yet. So still giving Ken a moment to respond. Linebacker core could be much improved. I'm assuming, Matt, how they're talking about with the addition of Houston, that could be improved. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Let's see, what else? What else have you guys been talking about or want to talk about before I get off of here in terms of this Carolina Panthers team? Frank Reich era is about to get real. Regular season is about to start. Trying to line up some important guests for that pre-game show that we do down in Atlanta. We're going to be on the field, me and Andre. And yeah, I'll let you know when I get it lined up. I'll be excited if I can get it, but be sure to tune in for that. And then also note for our home games, excited that one half of Panther Nation podcast, Rashad, will continue to join us on our pregame show. So super excited about our pregame shows that we do live here in Charlotte, because it's a live show at the stadium, 3 guys, live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And I think it's going to be a darn good show. And it's going to be an interactive show. I put the link in the comments. Nobody's looked at it yet, but I'll put it back out there one more time in case somebody wants to try to join me here. There's the link that I just put in the comments if you want to join me live before I get off of here and ask me any questions that you may have about this Carolina Panthers team, or you just may want to make a comment. So I'm here for you for the next 3 minutes if anybody wants to tune in. I wish I had an update on Dante Jackson for you guys as well. He said that Dante actually said regarding his injury, let me make sure I get it up properly here before I speak. Let's see here. Dante Jackson hurt his ankle. Give me just a second, and I'm going to. Yeah, so Dante Jackson said that his ankle injury is not the same foot that his Achilles injury was on, and that he actually tweaked his ankle on the first day of joint practices with the Jets. You know, we've never heard anything about it, but he said he tweaked that ankle during the Jets joint practice. Foot got caught on the turf early and just went ahead and held him out as a precaution. So that's the history on the Dante Jackson injury from this past weekend. All right, here we go. We got a couple comments to take us home on here. Kent Sullivan. Kent, good to see you. Appreciate you tuning in. How do you feel about the running back situation? So the running back situation, Miles Sanders, been held out for most of the preseason, likely to be held out for the rest of the preseason. Chuba Hubbard was hurt, and Coach Reich doesn't know if Chuba's going to play this Friday or not. So that leaves Spencer Brown, Raheem Blackshear, and possibly some LaVisca. You know, if you are without your top 2 running backs, that's going to hurt you no matter what, especially when Miles is your guy that's going to be catching the ball out of the backfield. Pretty good, you know, being our CMC. It's reversed on the screen. There we go. Being your CMC replacement. If Miles is good to go, I feel good, but this might be your question. If Miles is not good to go, then I'm not as excited. I like Raheem Blackshear as a runner. Spencer Brown has been good as a runner, but we also need somebody to come out the backfield and catch the ball pretty effectively. You know, we don't know if this O-line is going to get back to what we saw last year. Hopefully, certainly hoping that it does. But the more people that you have as an outlet for Bryce to get the ball out of his hands and to keep himself upright, the better. And so, you know, I'm not as comfortable as Frank Reich today speaking about next man up mentality, because I know you have to have that mentality, but I'm not as comfortable. And, you know, how much less effective our offense may be if they are missing a Miles Sanders? Appreciate the question, Kent. Thank you very, very, very much. Christopher Titan says, I'm sure Yetur Gross Matos sealed himself getting cut with his most recent performance. I haven't noticed enough improvement on justifying keeping him. All right, Chris. Appreciate the comment. Also, Ken, you're saying interview number 91, and 91 being Kobe Jones out of Mississippi State. All right. Ken, if you can, before we get out of here, just make sure you do it in the post video. And again, Ken is talking about, I asked who you all may want me to interview, player or coach. He's saying Kobe Jones. So also, when you let me know the player, let me know the question that you may want to have asked so I can make sure I get that for you. Appreciate the interaction, Kobe. I'm sorry, Ken. So then I'm asked, what do I think of Raheem Blackshear? I like Raheem Blackshear. Last game, Raheem had 8 carries for a 3.9 average. And then the game before that, let me try to get that stat for you real quick. But I know even before I look at the stats that I like Raheem as a runner, but I'm not too confident in Raheem as a pass catcher. Yeah, so last week he just had 1 carry for 2 yards, and then this week he had the 8 for 31, including the long of 8. So he's shifty and, elusive. So again, I can't say I'm extremely high on him, but I like him. I feel like he could be a part of the run game. But I have liked Spencer Brown more than Raheem Blackshear, if you want to know the difference between those two. And let me see, Spencer Brown, that just had 10 carries for 26 yards. So he only had like a 2.6 average, 9 carries. I'm sorry, 9 was his long. But he also had 1 reception for 7 yards against the Giants. And then that first game against the Jets, he had 8 carries, 34 yards, as well as 3 catches for, even though it was only 4 yards, he was effective in catching the ball. And he has a little bit better size that I like in Spencer over Raheem Blackshear. Appreciate the question, Sports Talk. And then I'm going to get one more before I got to get out of here. See if there's one more that I can get on. Trying to make sure I understand these questions before I read them out loud. I see him down. Oh, okay. So this is the Mad Chatter right here, just talking about that he seems a little down on the team, but it feels like we're not far away from being a team that can compete and be formidable in the NFC South. And I'm feeling the same. It kind of sucks with the way that the leagues played, teams play these days, and not really showing you much, and then being so vanilla. I get it. I don't want them to play full-blown games and get people hurt and put players in that kind of position. But I do just want to see a little bit more to have some confidence in things. So right now, you really have to rely on these coaches' confidence that they have in talking to the players and what they get from drills. I have seen this team practice every single day since the first day of training camp. And I still, have question marks because I can't see just how good a guy is in drill. And then for the longest, the guy's just in T-shirts and helmets. Well, everybody looks good in T-shirts and helmets. So I think for the most part, coaches already know who they're wanting to be, where they're wanting to be, and they're really just focusing on some depth, the second guy, the third guy. I mean, you have some decent battles like at the wide receiver position or even at the outside linebacker where you're trying to see who may excel, and you haven't seen anything there with, Yetur. hasn't excelled, hadn't done anything to stand out. Marquise Haynes has been hurt. So we got some question marks that will definitely need to be fill in the blanks here in these next couple of weeks. So we'll continue to monitor it. I'll continue to bring you coverage of it. Again, practice today was pretty much non-existent for the media. We were not able to watch practice today. They just did a walkthrough, so that's why I had limited stuff to report today. But they will be back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with practices that will be open to the media. So you can count on tuning back in and hearing my play-by-play, as well as seeing more video highlights of players during practice. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Help us continue to grow. The more we grow, the more we can have content and players and coaches on the show for you. If you have already subscribed, hit the like button. That'll be it for today. I'm Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.